Hello, my friends. So, I wanted to give you a quick introduction to the negation game, an experiment that we've been running at ScrollDAO. This is a novel form of governance mechanism that we're using there in order to summarize the reasons why we're voting yes or we're voting no for an upcoming proposal. Now, typically, the way that this is done in governance today, especially in DAO governance, is somebody publishes an essay. That essay contains all of their reasons why they said yes or no. And this is an alternative to the essay. We call it an epistemic graph or a rationale. Now, this one that we're looking at here, this only contains the information that's about my reasoning for why I voted in a particular way. So this is kind of a view of a global graph that has many people's different perspectives. And I just want to show you a couple of the key ideas for how the negation game works. This particular graph is related to the votable supply adjustment proposal, which right now is being evaluated by the DAO. And you can see, I'll just show you in about 1 minute the key things for you to notice. The first is that we can see at the top we have the auto abstaining wallet proposal should be passed, and the auto abstaining wallet proposal should not be passed. So we have kind of the two possibilities that can happen in the space. If you can imagine that if you had more possibilities, like let's say, for example, you're imagining deploying a project and you had to select the country that you wanted to deploy the project in, well, then maybe you would say, here we have Kenya, and here we have Colombia, and here we have the United States. And then we would evaluate each of those. Now, the key idea of the negation game is that all of these are negations. So they're just arguments against. That's what that little minus sign is trying to tell you on the edge here. And so if you want to write something that's a pro, then you use two negations. And in fact, we can see that right here. So this statement says the proposal does not address the problem of power concentration in scroll down. And you can see then that that's something I've endorsed, something I believe. And we also want to somehow register the fact that concentration of voting power is a problem in scroll DAO. And the way that we do that is first we negate this by saying it's not a problem, and then we negate it again by saying it is. And so our this is why we have these 2 points like this, because everything in the negation game is a negation. And that keeps it relatively simple because you can just look at the graph and you can see, okay, if there's an edge between two things, then it's some sort of argument against it. If you want to check if there's an edge, you can move things around. That leaves only further things for you to understand about the negation game. And the first is that you have a certain amount of cred. A cred is a currency which you can spend in order to express your approval of something or your agreement with it. And so here I have previously endorsed this statement, and when I endorse it, it increases the cred. It also increases the favor. The favor is kind of the score that captures the degree to which this is favored by the community. So in this particular case, I really agree that we should pass the proposal. And so I'm going to add some cred up here, and that should have some sort of effect on the favor once the transaction has populated. So that's the first thing to know. The second thing is that the only move that you can make when you disagree is you can give a reason why you disagree. And this is to prevent it from being something that is free. We don't want it to be free to disagree. We want to charge a small tax, and the tax is that you must give some sort of reason. And so then that moves us towards a higher velocity decision cadence inside of DAOs. It moves us towards optimistic approval of proposals. And as it is today, this is really just a tool for increasing the rigor and the accountability of decision making for DAO delegates. But what we have imagined is much broader than that. And we believe that, in fact, we can entirely reimagine the process of being a delegate and, in fact, of participating in governance writ large through this new kind of interface. So stay tuned if you want to follow our progress. Thank you so much. Peace.